Hey guys, Boston Chris with the ETX ROCKS Show. Thanks for checking out this episode of the ETX ROCKS Show featuring Terry Jennings.
This is Boston Chris with another great episode of the ETX ROCKS Show.
Louise here.
Descript.
Featuring all genres and styles of entertainment.
And call me ETX ROCKS.
Let's hear it from Louise, please.
From the unheralded and unheard to the legends and beyond.
Out of the box with ETX ROCKS.
It's awesome.
We keep them coming.
$5, that's pocket change.
Well, hey, y'all, this is Haley McDaniel. Are y'all ready for this?
ETX ROCKS Show is the greatest show of all time, okay?
We are ETX ROCKS.
The ETX ROCKS Show is the best show of all time, say? The other shows, you're good, you're real good. As long as we're around, you'll be second best, say?
Cut.
Hey guys, this is Louise with the ETX ROCKS Show. Are you looking for a high-energy rock band for your club or party? Well, look no further than our friends from the band Eastgate. Eastgate is ready to perform wherever you need them. With original material and their own unique spin on carefully selected cover tunes, Eastgate brings an awesome experience for up to a 4-hour set. Book them at www.eastgaterockband.com. Again, that's www.eastgaterockband.com.
From the great state of Texas, this is the latest episode of the ETX ROCKS Show. Nestled in the piney woods of East Texas, the ETX ROCKS Show delivers the stories and songs of talented artists of all genres, all styles, from the unheralded and unheard to the legends and beyond. We bring a passion for music and a drive to go behind the curtain with our guests. We focus on all artists, from LA to New York, Nashville down to Texas, and everywhere in between. ETX is our location, not a limitation. As always, it's viewers and listeners like you out there that are our biggest support for the show. If you want to contribute to the ETX ROCKS Show, please do so by donating to www.paypal.me/ETXROCKS, and we thank you for tuning in. Now, this is the 208th episode of the ETX ROCKS Show. Our guest this week has a unique perspective into the life of one of the biggest names in the history of country music. Many consider Waylon Jennings the original outlaw in country music. His oldest son, Terry, joins us this week to discuss the book he wrote, Waylon, Tales of My Outlaw Dad. Now, in this truly introspective, honest book, Terry puts to rest many legends and half-truths told about Waylon through the years, and offers an incredible view into what life on the road was like with his dad. Guys, we are super excited to welcome Terry Jennings to the ETX ROCKS Show for the first time. We're really excited about this episode of the ETX ROCKS Show, and on the phone with us this week is Terry Jennings, and Terry has the distinction of being the original outlaw, Waylon Jennings' oldest son. Terry, I definitely want to thank you for your time today, man. Thanks a lot.
Oh, thank you for having me on, Chris, man. This is really great. I've been listening to y'all for a while, watching you on Facebook is what I've been doing mostly.
Awesome.
For a couple of years now.
And so you just released a book this year. It's called Waylon, Tales of My Outlaw Dad. And I guess this came out earlier in 2017, around April. But the book concept was kind of in the back of your mind for quite some time. So how did you decide to release a book about your dad, and what were some of your missions in doing so?
Well, it started, me and him were on the way from Nashville to Dallas to see a Cowboy football game. And we got to talking about this, that, and another, and I was just cutting up, and I said, well, one of these days I'll just write a book. And he goes, you know what, you're the only person I know that's been with me from the beginning that's not afraid to tell the truth. You ought to do that someday. So once Dad passed away, I kind of felt obligated about it, and I got to, trying to figure out what you're going to say the first time. And so it pretty much wrote itself once I decided to write about the years we spent together on the road.
And yeah, that's one thing I really love about the book. I've read it twice now in the last week. It's definitely a very honest portrayal of, one of the biggest legends that country music's ever seen. And because he was such an iconic person, there's a lot of stories and legends out there that aren't, necessarily the truth. So it's kind of cool to get that introspective look at him and know that this is actually what happened.
You read some stuff out there these days, and he said stuff about people after he was dead.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how'd that happen?
Right.
But I went out to writing on this book, and that's what I felt like I'd done. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just really cool, and I appreciate you writing it. And it's been a while since Waylon passed away, and so now it's 2017. I think it's been like 15, 16 years. So why did you decide to wait so long?
Well, it took me that long, to tell you the truth, to organize the stories. I wrote on it for 10 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then I tried to get anybody I could interested in it after I got what I felt was, a good story going. And one day I just said, God, if you want me to have a book, I'll have a book. And
right.
I'd say within 4 to 6 months, I had a book deal after that.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's really good stuff. I like it.
Do you have plans on writing a follow-up at all?
I've put some thought into it now, but, man, I've been so busy promoting this one, I haven't really had time to think of that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And first time around, I tried to put as much as I could in the first one, so I know there's some stuff that I could put in a book, but to arrange it as well as this one's written, I'd have to work on it pretty hard. Hopefully not 10 years, though.
Right, yeah, and it sounds like it was kind of like a life's work for you then, huh?
Oh, yes. Writing a book is hard, and then getting it published is hard, and then promoting it's hard. I mean, if I'd known all this in the beginning, I probably never would have started.
What do you think was the hardest part of it all?
I guess bringing up things you wish you'd forgot, because everybody has things in their past that's like, man, I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Well, in the process of dragging up some really good stuff, I drove up some really bad stuff too. So, but I was glad to put it back to bed too.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those books where you have to kind of take the good with the bad in every situation.
Especially when you're trying to be honest about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you've gone on record as saying that Waylon was, one heck of a father for you and your 6 brothers and sisters. That's always.
I never take that away from him. He was a great father.
Yeah, but that's kind of been kind of downplayed over the years. I would say, like in the business, in the music business, everybody's on the road so much that I imagine it's probably really difficult to be a good parent.
I would say, yeah, it's difficult, but you just try the best you can when you're there.
Right.
You do. And that's what Dad did, is like, when he was around you, you got his total attention.
That's awesome.
And, but, when he had to be away, he had to be away. I was lucky that I got to be away with him quite a bit, so.
Yeah, and you saw
him quite a bit.
You saw a lot of different aspects of life on the road with him. From selling T-shirts to being a drum tech to stage managing, all of that. So you probably saw pretty much every side of the business, so to speak.
I would say so. It was fun being on those different sides too, and I got to say it at a young age. Once I got to writing about this, I was going, man, I was just a kid then. What was I doing talking to people like that? Yeah,
you started at 15 with him, right?
Yeah, 15.
Yeah, so I mean, kind of almost grew up together in the business because he had you really young. He was what, 19 when you were born.
Yeah, I went on the road with him in '72 and he did the RCA record deal in '65. So it had 7 years of it as far as major label deal.
Right. And so, I mean, you were with him through all the. Here's a good question for you. A lot of people out there claim to be an outlaw or whatever outlaw is. What would you say is the definition of the word outlaw when it comes to music?
Well, I say that they made a mistake when they called it an outlaw movement. They should have just called it a survival movement.
Okay.
That's what everybody was trying to do, was just survive. The Nashville system worked for some people.
Right.
You could put their vocals with that production, and it would sell X amount of records, and everybody would make money and be happy. Well, it didn't do it for people like Dad, for Willie, and a bunch of others.
Right.
So, they had to fight to get their chance to do it their way. Now, if it wouldn't have worked out, people probably wouldn't get a chance again. I mean, or they'd have to fight harder the next time. But, you know, luckily, when they started doing it the way they wanted to, it really went over the top big.
Wow. And would you say there's a lot of parallels between how it was back then when guys like Waylon and Willie and Billy Joe Shaver and those guys were all trying to kind of buck the system? And I mean, you kind of have the same thing happening today, and especially with Texas music. You know, there's a lot of Texas artists that are still kind of bucking the system that Nashville has in place. Do you think there's a lot of parallels between then and now?
Exactly. It hadn't changed a whole lot. I mean, when Dad and Willie did their thing, a lot of people benefited from it.
Right.
But it's right back to now where you have to go in just like Dad and Willie did. They went in under their rules and made records the way they said make records. And it just didn't work out for them. You know, so at least now they usually give them an opportunity to try to make at least one record their way if it's not working the Nashville way.
Right.
And hopefully that works out for them. If not, then it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, because I mean, especially in the state of Texas, there's so many artists that are so different than what Nashville is putting out today that are very successful artists.
Yeah, original and good stuff. I like it.
Yeah, like, I mean, just like Cody Jinks pops to mind, you know, like, I can imagine Waylon and Cody would have been really, really good friends.
I think they would have got along just fine.
Yeah, I agree.
I really like Cody a whole lot. You know,
one,
you know, Chris Stapleton. I mean, there's a bunch of them out there I like.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to see that, you know, there's still folks out there that care enough about traditional sound and country music that don't really care what Nashville is doing. They're just going to do it their way, either way. So.
And Cody seems to be getting her done real good too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're all proud of him, of course.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that I was really tickled was in the book, because I've always wanted to hear your dad's side of things in the whole Buddy Holly situation. You know, and who said what and when, and you know, of course, the legend is that Waylon gave up his seat to the Big Bopper. So it was cool to hear, you know, that kind of his side of things on that, even though apparently he didn't really talk about it very often, did he?
No, once that incident happened, and I mean, you got to realize they were kids, and they were just cutting up with each other, and once that happened, Dad thought everything was just gone, because Buddy had moved to New York and he was wanting to start his own record label. And the first artist he was going to sign was going to be Dad. You know, so when that plane crashed, he thought everything he had was gone. And High Pockets talked him into picking it back up and going again, thank goodness. But no, he had pretty much decided to give it up after that.
And it was you know, years and years and years before he would even talk to you about it, right?
20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean,
a combination. We'd had the Crickets out with us for a while, and that just gave him Buddy Holly's motorcycle, and he decided to open up one time. You know, one day, and you know, and he told us the way it went down. You know, after he had told Bopper that he could take his seat if it was all right with Buddy. Buddy was back there giving him a hard time, telling me it's hard to fly. I mean, afraid to fly.
Yeah.
And I said, I ain't afraid of nothing. You know, and Buddy said, well, you gave Big Bopper your ticket. He goes, well, he's sick and he needs to be on the plane. He's too big to be sleeping on that bus. And Buddy goes, well, I hope your bus freezes up. And Dad goes, well, I hope your plane crashes.
Wow.
You know, and that was the last words you say to your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stuck with him a lot.
So yeah, it was kind of a known thing not to even mention Buddy's name around Waylon for a while.
You know, it wasn't so much mention Buddy's name, just don't ask him any questions.
Right.
You know, you can say, I like Buddy Holly, and he'll go, yeah, me too, or something like that. But, you know,
just don't try to get him to open up about it.
Right.
Right. Okay.
I mean, the most I heard him talk about Buddy Holly before that is he would say that if he ever saw who had the rights to Buddy Holly's song, if they ever put him on a commercial, he'd go and kick their butt.
Wow.
And and I never heard one on there until after he died.
Wow. Yeah, and a lot of folks out there may not have known that Waylon was a pretty well-known DJ up until becoming famous as a singer and all of that. One thing I did want to ask you is I had always heard over the years that Waylon was, if not the first, one of the first to start spinning Loretta Lynn regularly. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know if he's one of the first or not. It's the right time frame. He was DJing when she was first coming out, so I could see it because he liked her a lot.
Yeah, I just always heard that I think the song was Blue Kentucky Girl, and Waylon was spinning it all the time.
The time frame sounds right.
Yeah, I guess it could be true, but it's hard to say with all the different myths and stuff out there.
I mean, he was working at a country station, so he got more and more trouble for playing the rock and roll stuff. I mean,
yeah,
he could get away with playing Buddy stuff because he was a local boy.
Right.
But they're playing some stuff that that they were getting trouble about. They didn't care.
Yeah, Waylon kind of sowed his roots over there on the western end of Texas, out in Lubbock, in that area.
Exactly.
Is that where you guys kind of grew up as well, Terry?
Yeah, I was born in Littlefield in '57, and I got a sister born in Loveland. I got another brother that was born in Lubbock, and another sister was born in Dallas, and then they all kind of scattered from there. But most of them from the first marriage were born up there. All
right.
of them, I should say.
And you've kind of made a name for yourself as well in the world of music. You've worked with RCA and different publishing companies and stuff like that. How has your experience, being not only Waylon's son, but having been on the road with a musician like that for so many years, how has that kind of helped you with the different projects you've been involved with over the years?
Well, having worked with Dad from such a young age and working in Nashville, I got to know all these guys personally.
Right.
And so being able to get a call into somebody is, a battle. And I don't have that problem.
Right.
And it's just a hit of it. You just keep money coming in the spigot, and it comes out the other end. So that's what publishing's all about. Sometimes you get a lot going on. Sometimes you just get a little bit.
Right. And you're still kind of working in the business too now, aren't you?
Yeah, it's we do publishing, but it's pretty much on autopilot. I've been concentrating mainly on the book, and then we did that Tales from the Tour Bus.
Right.
And that was fun. It took a few weeks after we went down and filmed it and stuff. So that's been taking me away from most of the publishing stuff.
And so, I mean, are you still, even at this time, kind of looking for new artists and stuff like that? And if so, is it mostly in the Texas area?
Well, but the whole thing is, you've got to say, is this something I'm going to commit myself 2 years at least before I even see it?
Right.
And so it'd have to be something just blows me out of the water at my age.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, what's been kind of some of the reception from people in the business with having the book out? And I imagine a lot of your dad's friends and some of your friends probably have a lot to say about it. Has it been mostly positive?
I've only heard good response so far.
That's awesome.
I mean, biggest thing is, how do you remember that? How do you remember that? And I said, man, it just came to me and I remembered it. And they go, well, that's what happened. The people that were there.
Right.
I go, I know. But that was the biggest blessing, is to be able to remember everything that went down.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wanted to be truthful about it. So, I mean, I got as close as I could without throwing in a bunch of curse words that were in this. So.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
One thing in researching a little bit about you, and of course researching your dad, there's really not a whole lot of books out there about him.
No, there was one that came out in like '84 by
right.
a guy. He was from Germany, and it's more like just facts. You know, he did this then, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then there's the one Dad wrote. mine, and then Jesse's written one.
Yeah. Like I said, there's just not a whole lot out there, so it was really cool reading this book, and hopefully we'll get to meet someday, and I can have you sign my copy of the book.
If I get up there to that part of the country, I sure will. I've always felt like that was just so far away in Texas, no matter where I live. It's like, go to Longview? Oh, no, it's so far away.
There's nothing here anyway, man. There's nothing here. I don't blame you for not wanting to come this way.
So far away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to have a reason, though, You're, over in the Waco area?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have artists come from that area every so often.
Yeah. I think the only time we went there is when we'd be headed to Texarkana from, maybe Austin. We'd take some back roads that went up through there.
Yeah, and we're kind of a throughway from, anybody going from Austin to Nashville, too. You have to come through this way.
Yeah. Back in the day, we used to drive through there.
All right, so I did have a couple of fan questions, if that's okay.
That's fine.
All right, first one was they wanted to know if Waylon ever taught you how to play guitar.
No. Now, not that he didn't try, but he didn't try long because he could realize that I really didn't want to learn. So I never did learn to play guitar.
Wow.
And it used to make my friends mad because they'd come over and I'd say, "You want to shoot pool?" And you're in Nashville, and everybody wanted to be a guitar player. And we were kicking Martins out of the way to get to the pool table. And I'd say, "Why don't you just pick one up sometime and try it, Terry?" And I'm going, "I don't want to." So I just never had the itch to learn how to play a guitar.
That kind of makes sense because, my dad was a mechanic, and he always wanted me to learn how to, fix a car or whatever. And I just never had the interest in it, Yeah. It just didn't interest me. So there's no point in even trying. And one thing I do want to say, Waylon Jennings obviously is one of the biggest names that ever graced country music, but he's a lot of times he's underrated, I think, as a guitar player. Man, was he a phenomenal player.
He was a very good guitar player.
Yeah.
That chicken picking thing he had going on,
woo,
it was something else. And on the nights when he was on, he could make that thing ring. I listened to his guitar playing more than I did his singing when we did the live shows.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. It's always been, I like even in the song Amanda, which is really a ballad. Hearing some of those riffs in there that are so clean, man, it's so awesome to listen to his playing.
Precious Memories on Are You Ready for the Country?
Yep.
That's some of the best guitar work I've heard in a long time.
Wow. I'm going to maybe blow your mind a little bit. You want to know what my favorite Waylon song is?
What's that?
Revelation.
Oh, that's a oldie. That's a good song, too.
Yeah, very obscure song. Not too many people know about it.
It scared me when I was a kid, and I heard it.
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, man.
It's a powerful tune, man. I love that song.
It really, really is.
All right, back to the fan questions. Deanna Dial wants to know, what is your favorite memory of music waking up each morning?
My favorite memory of music waking up each morning?
Yeah.
Would have to be that it wasn't playing, because apparently I didn't wake up anywhere where it was playing. I enjoyed listening to music any time of day, except for right after you did a show.
Right.
For some reason, any noise coming out of little speakers made your nerves crawl. But but first thing when I get up in the morning, it usually took me a while to build in the noise.
Right. I can imagine. Yeah, if you're surrounded by it all the time, you just kind of want to give it a break.
Oh, really?
What was your favorite memory of your dad?
My favorite memory of Dad? I guess it would be either playing cards with him, sitting around watching football with him. Those are my favorite times with him.
What did he play, spades?
Yeah, spades, or we played sparkles. He'd say it was eating because, boy, he liked to eat.
Who would you say is your favorite artist outside of your dad?
My favorite artist outside of my dad?
Yeah.
Would have to be somebody like Pink Floyd.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I'm an old rocker at heart, you know. Just so happened my dad played country music, and a whole bunch of his friends did too.
right.
And they were pretty good at it, so I learned to like it. But I like some good old rock and roll also.
Pink Floyd, that's a good choice.
Yeah, I like Pink Floyd. I like Electric Light Orchestra. Yeah, keep going.
Very cool. Who are some of your favorites from the state of Texas nowadays? You following anybody locally?
This Aaron Ninehouse is good.
Yeah, I agree. Wow.
Yeah, I really like him. I've been following him a lot here lately. I like him. And I'll tell you what, there are a lot of bands in this state that I like. And what I like about Texas is, yeah, you know, if you're good enough, you can pretty much make a living and never leave the state.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool that, you know, not only is it such a large state, but it's so diverse too, where, you know, there's every kind of music here, every kind of person is here, every kind of venue is here. You know, the radio infrastructure is here where your songs can be played, you know, on the radio. You know, we have charts and things like that as well. So yeah, you know, you don't really have to leave the state to carve out a really good career for yourself.
Texas is a good place to kick off the band. Or
Yeah.
solo career for that matter.
Do you think Texas has changed any in the, you know, 40 years or whatever since Waylon started and you were on the road with him?
Well, change? No, not really. Texas pretty much stays about the same. You know, people come into Texas try to change it, but they're not very successful.
Right, yeah.
You know, and as far as the music scene, you know, it's pretty much the same as it was back then. But all the honky tonks have changed. You know?
Right.
There's no Panther Hall anymore. I don't know if they have the Longhorn in Dallas. I know they have Little Reds over in Fort Worth. But the original Longhorn Saloon over in Dallas, I don't think that's there anymore. You know, there's pretty neat places back in the 70s to play honky tonk music.
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of artists here in the state of Texas, you know, look up to Waylon and Willie and, you know, Billy Joe and all of these guys that paved the way and kind of put Texas on the map, to be honest. At least musically speaking.
Texas boys will do that.
Yeah, for sure.
They're quite proud of where they're from, and they'll let everybody know.
So I guess my last question for you, and I think you have a unique perspective to offer for this, for any younger artist that might be struggling with, you know, not just their identity, but, you know, trying to get their own brand of music out there and maybe, you know, getting some friction on the production side of things. What would your advice be for people like that, artists like that?
Well, I would say find me a good place to sit down and just make a lot of noise. Find me a honky tonk and just play there, where people know when I'm playing. You know, I'm going to be there the third Tuesday, or I'm going to be there all week, every week. You know, whatever the case may be. But you're there on a certain time all the time, and just make a lot of noise and let everybody come to you instead of going running looking for everybody else all the time.
Yeah, I would agree for sure. I think the more people you can play in front of, the less all that friction and all that noise matters around you.
Yeah, you speak from a position of power rather than go chasing after them, and you're negotiating from a power of weakness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Terry, if people are just finding out about your book, first, where would you send people to buy the book, and where can folks follow along with you on social media and stuff like that?
Well, let's see. I'm on Twitter. That's Terry Jennings 33, and then Facebook. And I've got a website, waylonson.com. You can book there. It's on Amazon. It's on Books of Me, and it's on Barnes and Noble. It's in bookstores. I mean, you can get it anywhere online or in bookstores.
All right, cool. All right, guys. So we're sitting here with Terry Jennings, the oldest son of the outlaw, Waylon Jennings, the original outlaw, probably the biggest name in the history of country music. Terry, I definitely want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to talk with us.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
And guys, this is actually episode 208. So we're in season 3. and we've done 208 of these now. If you're just hearing about us for the first time and you're tuning in for the first time, make sure you're following along with us. We're at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at ETX Rocks. Wherever you're listening at, please hit the subscribe or follow button and that like button. That'll definitely help us out a lot. If you want to help out financially, you can donate to us at paypal.me/ETX Rocks. Again, make sure you're checking out the great book. It's called Waylon, Tales of My Outlaw Dad. You can get that at Books A Million and all the other great places that sell books anywhere. And make sure you're doing that and follow along with Terry on social media. Again, as we always say on this show, we want to thank you guys out there for always supporting live music. And don't you ever forget,
ETX rocks.
Howdy, folks. This is Aaron Watson.
This is Bree Bagwell.
This is Jake. And this is Walter from Rocky Queen.
This is Curtis Grimes.
Monty Pittman.
This is Doug Supernon.
I'm Heather Little.
This is Rob Redwan.
Ho! Hey, folks, I'm WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Hey, guys, I'm Katie Lynn, and make sure to tune in to ETX Rocks with
Boston Chris.
Hello, y'all. This is Ronnie Millsap, and thanks for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
Tough guy. Ho!
Hey guys, we're Blacktop Mojo, and thank you for tuning in to ETX Rocks.